Yeah, it was a hard fought game and point. I think if you just look at the both attacks, they had the best looks of the night on a couple occasions, and where we were in a good moment to make a pass or an action to get a better opportunity at goal, we were off on those moments. On the defensive side of the ball, both teams, I thought did a good job, being tough to play against. I know there was a lot of fouls out there on our end, but I like the intensity of how we tried to get pressure to the ball, to make them uncomfortable. We know you have to be very certain in those moments so you don't get exposed and have to, find yourself running to your own goal. But I think in a lot of ways we got the moments right. I give a lot of credit to the back line. That was a big ask for those guys, having not played together and playing out of position, really. And even Yuya and Luka, they had to defend a lot more than they're accustomed to because of the strengths of Columbus. And I think for the most part, handled it really well. So we move on.
Go first to Pat Brennan.
Pat, does it feel like a good result? And I wonder if because of the two center backs you were down, I think you were basically just talking about that essentially,
yeah.
But when you think of it in those terms, not having the two center backs and the defense being aligned the way it was, does that make it really feel like this was a quality result?
We have to be pleased with it because we weren't creating a lot of good looks. Like I said, we had some transition moments, but didn't capitalize on those. And, we probably conceded the best two, three looks of the night, and Roman makes a couple big saves. So when you factor those things in, we should be pleased with a point because in both boxes and in terms of chance creation, they had the better of it.
And big picture, you guys qualify for the playoffs tonight. I don't think that was really in doubt, obviously, but it is the third year in a row that you accomplished that. And, that's impressive considering the state of everything when you and Chris got here. So just, do you have any thoughts on reaching the playoffs for a third straight year?
Very pleased with it. It's hard to do, and we strive for consistency, and consistency for our group and our expectations is to be a playoff team and then, be a top seed and be playing games at home in the playoffs. And we've accomplished the first goal with becoming a playoff team, and now it's a matter of how we close out the season to win games and stay in the position we're in. So very pleased with everything that's been thrown at the group all year. The guys have just handled it in a really professional way, and to secure a playoff spot with this many games left is a credit to the job they've done.
We'll go to Laurel now.
You mentioned having to move some guys around. You've had to do that a lot this year. Do you feel like you guys have found your identity offensively, or have you had enough opportunities to really do that?
No, I wouldn't say we've found our identity. You see tonight, there's just moments where plays break down because of lack of probably consistency and relationships. That's been the whole year for a variety of reasons: injuries, international breaks, suspensions. It's been hard for us to consistently put the same team out there. And, it feels like we're always moving things around to try to get our best group out there. And that's tough for a group to consistently look the same and execute. And like I said, they have the right approach to it. And now can we get guys healthy, avoiding suspension, and in a position where we can get some consistency with our starting 11 to close out the year.
Lucho getting back in the starting lineup, first time since July 13th, I think. What did you make of his performance, and then how difficult is that, making that decision with 3 minutes left to sub him in or sub him out?
He was outstanding. I know the attacking production that we're accustomed to seeing was limited tonight, for him and our group. But what he did for us defensively in recognizing how we needed to get pressure to the ball. It's clear to what his teammates need to be doing around him. His leadership, the way he was communicating. He stepped up in this moment because he's not 94 minutes fit, and he got to that point. He was clearly not thrilled with coming off because he wants to see out the game, and he's a competitor. He wants to win. It felt like, in that moment, there was some serious fatigue. And, he'll tell you he can finish it, and he probably could have. I just thought in that moment, see out the game with fresh legs, and that's Yuya as well. There were some guys cramping, and we needed to have, the right legs to see out that game.
We'll go now to Carter and then to Jeff.
Pat, it felt like, particularly with Lucho and some of his teammates up front, that kind of inconsistency with new people around, particularly him and Nico. There were times where there was opportunities, things just didn't connect, and with him just coming back. Is building that consistency you just spoke to and getting Lucho and his teammates connected in that way the key to the stretch run of the season and then into the playoffs?
It's part of it. If we want to be winning games, we have to get more of those moments right in transition and how we attack the goal. Columbus defended in a good way tonight, and there was, probably a handful of moments where maybe the shot isn't there, but the movements and the pass is where we were off because there was opportunity, but we didn't take those moments well. So it's part of what we need to improve on, as we move forward. Because, tonight you could see it was not our best attacking performance.
And then there's so many guys in the back line you mentioned off the top, Yuya, Alvis. Was that a point, like the defensive effort from especially on the wings, a point of emphasis going into the game, or is that just how the game kind of developed and then became key to the success?
There was a lot of things that we talked about because with Columbus, there's a lot of adjustments, that they're capable of making in game. So if you're having success for a 10, 15-minute stretch, expect something to change because they're not going to sit and not be able to find solutions. We've seen that from them. So guys needed to understand there was going to be adjustments that they needed to be prepared for. And with Yuya and Luka and with Alvis and DeAndre specifically, guys that haven't played that back line together, there was a lot of things that they were able to at least see and work on over the last 2 weeks to help them and position them to get plays right tonight. So, like I said, defensively, a lot was asked of them, and I thought they did a really good job. But certainly when you're at home, it doesn't matter who you're playing, and with the players we have on the field, we want to be attacking more and we want to be scoring, and that's where we came up a little short.
We'll go to Jeff now, and then we'll go to the Zoom.
Okay, Coach, we saw Nico and Camacho clash heads in the game. Can you give us an update on Gioacchini?
He's okay, just a laceration.
Okay. And also, let's see, Teenage Hadebe was also on the bench.
Yep.
Were there any plans to perhaps have him see minutes, or is it just too close to him coming back?
No, there was no real plan, but we thought it would be a good idea to get him to experience the game day environment in a reserve role and be on the bench and be around his teammates. He arrived yesterday, so this is a lot new to him, and we think he'll be a key piece to the seeing out the season and then into the playoffs. So put him on the bench and being around the guys and being on the field in an important match we felt was the right move.
And we'll go to the Zoom and wrap up with Charlie Boehm. Charlie, you can go ahead.
Hey, Pat, can you hear me?
Got you.
Yeah, thanks. There's a lot of talk before the match about Cucho versus Lucho. You spoke about Lucho a bit just now. What's your evaluation of Cucho? And it seems like you guys handled him as well as anybody has of late. Two players who are so central to the attacks.
Yeah, two of the best in our league. I think, the talk around them is deserved because they're so important to both teams' success. With Cucho, his ability to impact the game in different ways, in different parts of the field, his movement, his shot creation, his vision, he's just so difficult to play against. And all he needs is a yard or two. And if he can create separation from a defender, his ability to play inside passes and move off of that, his ability to play in behind or to switch play. He's just got great awareness and field vision, as does Lucho, and it's what makes them so tough to prepare for, and for opponents to try to limit. So, I think the guys, like I said, did a really good job on our end, but he's always going to find a moment or two at a minimum, and fortunately for us tonight, they didn't capitalize.
Pat, thank you very much.
One more from me. Okay.
Go ahead.
Sorry, am I still here?
Go ahead, Charlie.
Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. Pat, there's so much change. So I know you've had to deal with so many roster shifts. How close are you to your best? What do you need to do? Is it just time together to get this group to gel, or is there something more you want to work on?
I missed part of it. I think you asked how close we are to our strongest or healthiest group.
Yeah, and is
Okay.
it just time together with the group?
Yeah, so, obviously we get Miles and Ian back in the mix. Kevin and Yuya were on 3 going into it. So for me, making sure these guys don't take unnecessary fouls. There's always going to be moments where a tactical foul is necessary, but if we're able to stay healthy, then avoiding suspension is important. I think we go into this next game as healthy and with as many options as we all have had. And the goal for us needs to be to maintain that over this final stretch so that, like I said, we can have consistency with our selection and with our starting 11. And that's just something that, for a variety of reasons, hasn't happened. But I think if we want to have a strong end to the season and have a strong playoff run, it needs to be with players available and depth and competition in our squad. So certainly that'll be important.
All right. Thank you very much, Pat. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.